Ever since Bumblebee was announced, many fans have been curious about just how closely this film was going to be connected to the original 6 Michael Bay films, and the first trailer definitely made it seem like the movie would have a fresh tone, but it definitely revealed that it wasn't going to be a complete reboot either. I mean, right off the bat, we hear the late Bernie Mac's character from the first film, Bobby Bolivia, used car salesman of the stars, providing an immediate connection to tie the film into what had come before, and seemingly setting it in that exact same universe. But in that first trailer as well, eagle-eyed fans seemed to also notice something else that was a major connection to the beginning of that franchise. You see John Cena's character, the first time we see him in that first trailer, he's obviously a soldier of some kind, but when you look closer on his uniform, his all-black outfit, the patch on his right arm seems to say Sector 7. Of course, Sector 7 was the shadowy government organization dedicated to tracking down and keeping track of extraterrestrial threats, which brings them into contact with Cybertronians very frequently in the original films. And in the trailer, he appears to be a bad guy, which isn't exactly a surprise, because Sector 7 were always kind of portrayed as unwitting antagonists, especially in that 2007 film, where they were kind of caught in the middle between the Decepticons and the Autobots, but they definitely weren't helping anybody out, let's say. Then the second trailer took it a step further. Cena and the agency seemed to actually be confirmed to be working directly with the Decepticons. Specifically in that trailer, Shatter and Dropkick, the new triple-changing Decepticons, approached Cena and the agency to help them in apprehending B, who they refer to as a criminal on their planet. Which isn't a complete lie. I mean, from the Decepticon point of view, if they're already winning the war, he's a rebel and a terrorist, even though he's an Autobot and he's fighting for what's right, and we know he's a good guy. Technically, they aren't necessarily lying to Sector 7. The rest of the trailer seems to show Cena and the agency working very closely with the Decepticons, but that left many scratching their heads. Why would they? And in that second trailer, we get kind of a half answer to that question, that the war on Cybertron might come to Earth if B isn't caught. Even still, it seems kind of odd for that to be the only reason. I mean, Sector 7 is a human-first organization. It's kind of odd to think that they would just immediately kowtow to these aliens that they've almost never encountered before, more on that in a little bit, just because they're looking for a criminal. I mean, maybe they'd help a little bit, but not in the active role that we see in the film. But a brand new trailer has shed a little bit more light and some context on why an organization with human interests first would help alien bounty hunters. Well, they were basically threatened into it. That new trailer shows the same meeting between Sector 7 and the Decepticons, but with a new bit of dialogue that helps to add context and, interestingly, some shades of gray to the equation. Basically, Shatter and Dropkick threaten to burn Earth to cinder if B isn't found, which obviously a human interest forward organization would probably like to prevent. And remember, there's a good chance that Sector 7 knows what these Decepticons are capable of because, remember, they have Megatron. But more on that in a bit too. If Sector 7 is forced to help the Decepticons, this paints them in a whole new light, and even actually opens the door to them potentially switching sides and actually helping Bumblebee and the humans. I know it was surprising to many that Cena was going to be an out-and-out villain in this film, seeing as he's such a likable guy. I mean, he was always the face in the WWE. He's been mostly a good guy in a lot of his film roles, especially in his newer kind of post-WWE film career. So seeing him as a villain in this film was jarring to many, and I think him coming back and ending up being a good guy in the end is a very likely way that this movie could go. But what does this actually mean in the context of the franchise for Sector 7 to be not only encountering Decepticons, but working with them in this film? And as I said in the beginning of the video, remember that Sector 7 was always kind of this shadowy secret government organization. They were tasked with handling alien and extraterrestrial threats since their very existence, which frequently brought them into contact with Cybertronians. We actually don't know if they ever encountered any other aliens, as basically their entire history from the very beginning was tied into Cybertron and Cybertronian artifacts. Remember, the organization was founded because they discovered the Allspark in 1913, and they hid it and the body of Megatron, which they found in the 1930s, in the newly constructed Hoover Dam, which we actually see in the trailer for Bumblebee. Which brings up an interesting question. Do the Decepticons know Megatron is on Earth? Well, the answer is probably no, probably not. If that is, still canon and hasn't been retconned, that Megatron isn't running around on Cybertron at this point and he's still frozen on Earth underneath the Hoover Dam, then they definitely probably would make that a priority over catching Bumblebee. But maybe more on that in a later video, because we actually have some things to discuss about what exactly the Decepticons' mission is here on Earth, because it is actually pretty clear-cut and defined. But there's also the question of whether or not Sector 7 even realizes what these Decepticons are. Do they kind of of put together and connect the dots that what they have under the Hoover Dam is what they see in front of them. And actually, I think yes, this is going to help them connect those dots. I think they may not have known exactly what Megatron was, and seeing Shatter and Dropkick and Blitzwing may have actually helped them put together and kind of decipher that what they had was an alien organism. Remember, in the Transformers cinematic universe, Megatron's advanced technology was actually what allowed us to reverse engineer advanced tech like microchips and cell phones. So potentially all of those things, which came after the 1980s, could have been a result of finding out basically that, hey, Megatron is a living thing and we can salvage technology from it after we've seen more of it in action. Let us know in the comment section down below and whether you think this is a plausible explanation for Sector 7 actually helping out the bad guys here, and if you think they're going to switch sides like I do. But that's going to do it for me here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that like if you like what you saw, subscribe for more great content every single day, and consider turning on your notifications to be alerted every time we upload a new video. Signing off, this is CJ, and I'll see you next time.